Dan. Well, I suppose everyone knows of Elrow and where it's at the moment. Let's just start with who you are, how long you've been with the group, and what's your position and role within the family.
Hi everyone, my name is Victor de la Serna. I am a music director for Elrow, and I've been with the company for 4 years now, but I've been friends with the family for 10-15 years.
And for people that don't know, I mean, as Danny pointed out, Elrow isn't just a new party or concept that has popped up. I mean, it's a second generation family run business. Just tell people the history of the Anna family.
We do have a video that I would like to show.
Please.
This is the same one that we showed at IMS in Ibiza, and I think it will explain everything, and then we can talk about it if.
You might wonder how a family from Fraga, who first opened their doors to the public at the end of the 18th century, would end up creating one of the most successful parties in the world, in the whole world.
Pues oye, a veces ni lo sé, ¿no? A veces me lo pregunto yo mismo, ¿no?
This laughing dude is Juan Arnau Sr., the guy to blame for all of this. And trust us, they know exactly what they've done.
Empezamos, ¿eh?
The Arnau family has organized thousands of parties. They've opened iconic venues like Florida 135 and the Kerr Club. They started one of Europe's most significant electronic music festivals, and now they're running Elrow. And hey, they still seem pretty sane.
Definir el robo en una palabra.
Wow. Hostia, robo en una palabra.
Diversión.
Familiar.
Carnaval.
Elrow is...
It's tough, I said it. Wow. Bueno, el robo en una palabra, un pollo. Crazy. Bonkers.
Creative, colourful chaos.
Had it eccentric.
Locura, sin duda.
I'll go with magical. I like that word. Magical, yeah.
So it's an international word.
In only 7 years, Elrow has thrown parties in over 24 countries and has made millions of people get up and dance. How? By making you the center of attention. Elrow began here, in Barcelona. In no time at all, it became the clubbing event in the city. Its secret?
Una es siempre pinchar muy buena música. Otra, decoración. Convertimos cualquier sala donde vamos a cualquier festival en nuestro propio mundo. Tercera, todos los actores y zancudos que hacen que el público interactúe con ellos constantemente. Cuarta, el propio público en sí.
Cuando se consigue que el público es el principal espectáculo, es que has conseguido el éxito.
Elrow became bigger and bigger, and its fans grew in numbers. It was time to enter the big leagues. The productions became increasingly larger, and more effort was put into the set designs and the props, and making Elrow a totally amazing experience.
Can't stop. Can't stop. Can't stop moving.
Elrow landed on the White Island in 2012, ready to make its mark.
Para nosotros Ibiza ha sido fundamental. Yo creo que es como la pasarela de moda de Nueva York o Londres, donde todos los promotores más grandes del mundo vienen a ver qué es lo que va a pasar en los próximos 10 años en el mercado.
Ha de ser perfecto.
Mission accomplished. In its last year in Amnesia, Elrow sold out 14 shows in a row. Every summer, Elrow builds a team in Ibiza with one clear goal: to make dreams come true.
Is taking a dream and making it reality.
Projects are created with complete autonomy. Elrow teams lead all the props and stage design, actor characterization, performance direction, and the production itself. What's important in the midst of all the craziness is to keep the audience fascinated and transport them into new and grotesque worlds.
I think it's a very unique format for a party because they're creating, in my mind, like a theatrical play within the party.
Currently rolling out over 15 unique show concepts, Elrow is committed to creative innovation and continually surprising their audience. True to their anything-goes style, you can strut your stuff in a Singer Morning, dance among the gorillas in a Sambodromo, knock back a Sherry Fizz in the Feria de Abril, or feel like a real New Yorker in the deepest Bronx.
Toda la producción la hacemos en 2 naves industriales. Tenemos una aquí en Barcelona y otra en Ibiza durante el verano. También producimos en China y tenemos almacenes en Nueva York.
El papel de la animación en los shows es realmente crearte la ilusión de meterte en otro mundo.
Hay gente que se queda muy a la expectativa, se queda súper sorprendido de qué está pasando aquí, de repente gente alta, gente saliendo de los techos, colgando.
Interactuar mucho con el público, buscar el juego con el público.
It's magical. You know, you walk in and you have to figure out, is this person a part of the entertainment team or is this person a regular fan? Are they joking with me or is this some sort of part of an act?
We heard about the party that's crazy and we walked inside and it was like going to Disneyland for the first time. It's like, what the fuck's going on here?
La línea musical que sigue el Row, energético, divertido, basado en techno y en house, pero el Row ha dado un paso extra para que la gente tenga algo diferente.
Our resident DJs are in charge of making people dance the shit out of themselves. These guys travel all over the world, party after party, and they're loving every single time. Shout out to the DJs. But none of this would have been possible without the commitment of the entire Elrow family.
Para que un rock funcione bien, pues es la combinación de muchas cosas, desde el equipo técnico al equipo personal.
La diversión y la felicidad son valores universales, por lo que nunca dejarán de estar vigentes. Al final lo que queremos es que la gente lo disfrute y se lo pase bien, así que si conseguimos eso ya es muchísimo.
What's next?
Los planes de futuro para el 2018 son grandes.
Pasa por seguir la expansión internacional.
Convertirnos en una marca global presente en los 5 continentes. En Argentina, Brasil, Colombia, Chile, Perú, Uruguay.
Thailand, China, Japan, and probably some more.
Y eso implica un esfuerzo grande a nivel de equipo, de logística y obviamente para toda la empresa.
What is really next is Elrow Festivals.
Pasamos a formatos más grandes, donde más gente el mismo día puede disfrutar del rock.
Bigger, better, more chaos, more mentalness. So crazy and really giving people an experience that they've never had before.
La gente quiere pasarlo bien, quiere olvidarse de sus problemas, quiere formar parte del espectáculo y eso es lo que lo hace universal.
Creo que es un éxito primero porque no hay nada igual. Y cuando eres único, la gente lo reconoce. Segundo, creo que también es un éxito porque es sincero y lo que promete lo entrega.
Yo creo que el éxito del Row, ante todo, es el público.
Still, every time I go back, it's like opening up the door and stepping into a new world and leaving the normal world behind for like 20 hours or whatever.
El concepto es más importante que la música.
I think anyone that's turned up at an Elrow party not knowing what to expect, been in the middle of a show going on, then you will never forget that moment.
I forget this talky disco part.
Yeah, let's just say it. That's why I bring it, so I don't have to talk anymore.
Exactly. Well, I mean, the growth has been phenomenal.
Yeah.
Obviously, there's a huge team. How many full-time staff members do you currently carry?
Full-time at the moment, we have about 110 people.
Wow.
If we count the people that work on the events, so people that are just hired per event, we are about close to 400 people.
And do you foresee continued expansion? I mean, how many shows are you able to produce or to produce simultaneously? I mean, the production looks...
Right now, with the team that we have, we can do 5 shows on the same day on 5 different continents.
And I mean, Elrow, obviously, with the Arna family, they had Florida 135 and they had Monegros. What was it that brought about the creation of Elrow? I mean,
Elrow is a bit of an accident story, to be honest. The Arnau family lived in Fraga, which is a very small village about 2 hours from Barcelona, in the province of Huesca, in Aragon. And it's a very tight family. To this day, they still go have lunch every day together, the whole family. You know, they live close to the offices, and it's a very, very close family. And when Juan Jr., who's the CEO now, turned 18 and he had to go to university, he had to go to Barcelona for university. So the whole family moved to Barcelona so they could be together. And obviously Juan had Monegros and had the Florida 135 in Fraga, but since they were living in Barcelona, and he's a workaholic, he opened another venue in Barcelona, which was the original Row, which was a club in the center of Barcelona. It was the same format as Florida, which was a nightclub, Friday and Saturday night, DJs, that's it, you know. And then they found the venue where we are now, which is a venue that is about 14 kilometers outside of Barcelona, just opposite the airport. It's an open-air venue for anyone that hasn't been. It's a bit like DC10 in the old days.
Yeah. So just to interrupt for 1 second, but
yeah.
When they started with the club,
yeah.
The original Row club in Barcelona, was the mindset the same with the performance and the production?
No, not at all. When they opened the club, the open-air club, there was still the same format. They just wanted to book DJs, and that's it. And the club wasn't working. And they lost a lot of money, and they started opening, instead of Saturday nights, they started opening at 6 a.m. in the morning as an after party, and a few more people started coming, and still the numbers didn't add up. So it got to a point where it was about to close down, and they decided, fuck it, we're gonna close. Sorry,
it's fine, we're all over 18.
If we're gonna close, we might as well have fun with the people. So I think they went to like a Chinese market and they started buying like toys, water guns. They threw like a rope in the crowd and started to play with them. And at that moment, something clicked. And Juan Jr. said to his dad, "Is like, Dad, you need to give me some more time. I think something here, I can see something is happening, you know?" And so they started bringing actors, they started throwing confetti, they started decorating the room, and then it just started growing and growing and growing. I mean, I remember going to Elrow the first time, I think it was 2011, something like that. And it was during Sonar Week in the morning. It was Richie Houghton playing outside and Paco Osuna playing inside. I think it was about 10 people inside watching Paco and about 1,000 outside watching, and this is a 5,000 capacity venue.
Yeah.
So you can imagine that the growth has been monumental.
And Juan Senior, he had clubs for pretty much most of his
all his life.
All his life.
I mean, the family started with a little bar in 1870 in Fraga. Then that bar moved into a concert hall. The concert hall moved into a cinema. The cinema became Florida Club. His great-granddad used to go to Vegas to see the cabaret shows, and he was the first one to bring Vegas cabarets into Spain.
And the name? The name of the original club, Elrow, it was the name of the street. Where did the name Elrow come from?
The original name was called Row 14. Row, the story that I know, and I hope it's right because I quite like it.
Wasn't it a putty club before it was a disco? Row 14.
I'm not aware of that.
I think so.
No, I don't know. It was an after party, the venue. It used to be always an after. Oh, the one in Barcelona, you mean?
Yes, the one in Barcelona.
Maybe. I'm not sure, but I have to check. I'll get back to you on that.
So,
saying the name Row, the meaning was that you need to keep rowing to get where you want to be. And if you keep rowing, you'll eventually get where you want to be. And the 14 is the 14 kilometers. And that turned, because in Spanish, the row is Elrow. So in the end, we changed the name to Elrow because everyone was calling Elrow. Let's go to Elrow, let's go to Elrow, let's go to Elrow.
Perfect. And it stuck.
And it stuck.
And it stuck. So the concepts that you have, the different themed nights, the Sambadromo, and do you have a collective team that come up with these concepts, or is it very much the family that decide we want to do these toga or all the different theme nights?
We have a creative team, and I like to think that pretty much everyone that works in the company is very creative person, whether you work in a creative environment or you work in the music and the bookings or whatever. Everyone is very creative, and I think it's a very collaborative effort where everyone throws ideas, and we can be having dinner one day or having a meeting and say, hey, what about this? Why don't we do this? And Elrow is crazy, so no idea is crazy enough for us.
And when it comes to the music, I mean, you program music. I recall when Elrow started, it was very much reliant on the residents that have been playing with the club for ages. And now, I mean, everybody wants to play Elrow. Booking's going to be an easy job. But, to be honest, it's not something that you needed to do. Now, your weekly shows in Amnesia, you book guests, which are great. Was this part of the mindset to keep your locals and keep your residents and at a later stage add the extra talent that you need?
I think having residents is one of the most important things in this business, especially if you're a promoter. We have, I think, 14 resident DJs between all the clubs. Only in Elrow is 9 of them. I see a lot of parties that they just use the residents to open the room when there's nobody there. We do the opposite. They obviously open the room sometimes and they play for empty rooms. Everyone does. But we push our residents to always play in between internationals. You look at our set times, there's always international, resident, international, resident. Most of our residents always close the events. They always have peak time sets. They are the ones who know the party. They've been there for 8 years since it started. They really know. And an international guest sometimes can do a really non-Elrow set or can go do something different. A resident DJ is always going to deliver most of the time. And I think it's really important to nurture the talent of our residents. They all have careers of their own, but they're still Elrow residents.
Yeah. Eats Everything is someone that has been part of the
like
Elrow, almost resident for a long time. How did that relationship come about?
I think Dan is other than being a really close friend, Dan is an amazing person. He's a lot of fun to be, and for me, he's kind of like the perfect Elrow DJ. It's fun party. As you said as Juan Senior said in the video, Elrow is all about fun. And when you're backstage or you're looking at the crowd and you see people smiling, that's the biggest reward for us. As we said, if you go out to have fun, to forget about your issues, let go, and if you are there where something is happening, it's perfect. And Dan creates that. Dan can play house, can play techno, plays vocals, plays classics, and it's always uplifting and fun. So yeah, that's why he's always with us.
And as far as your international expansion, have you guys managed and worked with your own team and finding new locations, finding new promoters, or do you have agents that have worked with you in different territories, sub-agents or...
Yeah. We do have some agents that work in territories, and they deal with the local promoters. That's how we normally work. Some other places, where, for example, like in South America or Asia or Australia, where we're expanding now, we don't have an agent. We just talk to the promoter. We try to find the best promoter in each country. This is not like putting a club night where you just have to book a DJ and get the technical rider, but this logistically involves a lot of people, moving containers, planes, trucks. It's a very heavy operation, so not every promoter is able to do this.
And what do you look for in a promoter? I mean, somebody wants to do an Elrow show in a territory that you've not done a show. What are the things that you look for? What are the concerns that you look for before confirming a show with a new promoter?
Taking away all the obvious things that you look for someone that you work with, you talk to other promoters, you talk to agents, you talk to DJs, and get some feedback. But the main thing for us is work with somebody who understands the party. Yeah. He understands the concept, he knows what it is, and it's always something that is long-term. We don't go to a city where there's no long-term possibilities of growing the brand just because someone offers us $500,000. Doesn't matter. We've turned down massive offers to go to places that they don't bring anything to the brand. We want to work with somebody who can say, okay, we do the first party, we might break even because it's an expensive concept, but then we can grow to 5,000, 6,000, 8,000, and maybe in 3 years' time we can do a party for 12,000 people. That's the kind of people that we want to work with.
And does scale, large parties, intimidate you?
No, not anymore.
Not anymore. So, I
We
mean,
used to.
there's no threshold that you've reached and said, we can't do a party. Once we reach 15,000 people, it's not going to be an Elrow show.
No,
there's no
I mean,
concerns like that.
it's the hardest part when you do the bigger shows is trying to keep the immersiveness of the party. That's the only thing. We come from a club, and when you are in a club, in a venue, it's way more immersive. But when you are at a festival, what we do is having like massive stages, much more impressive stages, bigger puppets that walk around we can have a whale walking around the people, we can have a massive dragon that is in between the people. So it's still immersive. Yeah. Obviously, it's not a club experience. But if you go to a festival, a techno festival, it's not the same experience as going to a techno club.
And do you use, when you go to these respective territories, do you attempt or do you use local artists, performers, dancers, trapeze artists,
Always.
or do you use only your own team and travel with them?
No. The whole idea when you become so global and you travel so much is to have a local team of performers, local team of actors. So we normally travel with a tour manager, a performance manager, a couple of technicians, because they're the ones who know how to set everything up, and a couple of steel workers. Sometimes if we don't have steel workers from Barcelona, we just bring another performer, and we hire everyone locally. Everyone to build the stages, everyone to act as performers. We have like a little Bible that we can send them before, so they explain how you want to, because as you said on the video, you need to interact with the crowd. It's not about just dancing in the middle. No, you need to play with them. So it needs to be very clear that we explain to them. And but everything we source locally.
And then, I mean, I saw in the video that a lot of your team are from all over. You have American people, you have British people. I mean, is this something that you've picked up on your travels and you did a tour in the US and you found people there? Or you reached a stage in your business's growth that we need to go out and find these best people in their respective fields?
It's a mix of both. I think obviously when you travel as much as we do, and we not only travel for Elrow, I still go to other festivals to see what other people are doing and to network and meet other people. Along the way, you will meet somebody that one day you'll go, oh, actually, I need a new creative director. So Joe Vidley, we've been friends for many years, and then we needed a creative director. She was finishing some projects, and she came over to work with us. We work with people that the stage design from Brazil, from South Africa, from Australia. It's, I think there's creativity everywhere, and we need to use it. And then obviously, if you need a person, then you have to headhunt that person.
And what about investment or American support? Have you developed or reached a stage in the business where you've looked for fresh investment, looked to embrace new partners?
Yeah. In fact, last year, an American firm, Providence, they opened a new arm for entertainment, which is called Superstruct. They've bought Sonar, they've bought Seagate, they bought a few festivals, and they bought a minority share on us. We still keep creative control and everything, but obviously when you do such a big expansion, you need a partner with.
And do you do these kind of investment deals per territory or for your?
No, this is a global thing.
Franchising hasn't.
No, we keep creative control of everything. Even when we do an event in Sao Paulo or in Melbourne, it's by contract that we keep creative control. We design the flyers, we do the lineups. Everything is done in house. Obviously, you talk to the promoter and you find the right way, but everything is done in house. We've never ever franchised an event to anyone.
So back to the music policy. I mean, the music policy, has always been considered, as you said, techno house. I mean, if we were to define it in one word, it's underground house music.
Yeah.
It's not commercial.
It's not super commercial. It's not super underground.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit of balance. I think it doesn't work. Like somebody like Ben Clock or Nina Kravitz or something like this, it just wouldn't work with Elrow. Simple as that. As much as I like them, and I still like to go clubbing to techno and anything else, or something super commercial or EDM, it just wouldn't work with Elrow.
I mean, just personally, one thing which I am ecstatic about is how Elrow brought an element of color and vibrancy to what was becoming a very dark
Yeah.
and genre of music. And looking at the stage design and the production and the props, one would think you're at a more commercial venue. I remember I never saw that amount of confetti unless it was a fucking famous show. So, I think that marriage of light-hearted, sincere fun and then credible underground music is a novelty and it's unique.
Yeah, it's something that works, and again, coming to the music policy, when you choose between house and techno, and coming back, for example, of Dan, of It's Everything, we want to work with people that understand the party and they want to come and have fun with us. We like, everyone has to have fun and we would like to have fun. So I don't want somebody who comes with a big ego and demanding things. There's enough DJs on this world that we can choose, that people that.
And do you still maintain and run the club in Barcelona?
Yeah. We open once a month. We basically got closed down a few years ago through some there was elections and they didn't want an after party there. So we got shut down for a while. And then after the elections, some of the promoters were trying to take over the club. And the council came back to us saying, hey, do you want to, these promoters are not professional. Do you want to come back? Because, if you guys, any of you ever think of running a club, make sure that you play by the book. Talk to the police, talk to the council, talk to the traffic police. They're there to help you. That's the best thing you can do. So, because we did that, and we have a plan for everything, and they said you can come back, take over the club again, and we said okay, but we want to be able to have a full license to open in the mornings. We don't want to open at nights again. And we are, I think, the only Spanish club, the only club in the whole of Spain who has a license to open we open normally from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m.
That's great. What about the chicken? Where did and how did the chicken come about?
Well, from an egg, as always, Now we wanted a mascot many years ago. Don't know why what kind of crazy idea came out. And in Spanish, to do a pollo is to make a ruckus, liar un pollo is do some big party. So we created a chicken.
I've heard that there was talk that perhaps the family wanted to bring Monegros back. Is that still on the cards? Is that something?
It's definitely still on the cards. Hopefully there will be news soon, but we don't know yet. But yeah, it's always on the cards. Monegros only stopped because there were some family problems with the land, and it had to be resolved, and it had to be in court, and now it's resolved. So now we can come back. So that discussion is always open.
Let me ask you, when's the last time you recall an Elrow show not being sold out or packed to the rafters?
I remember 4 years ago, the first time we did a party in London. We did it at Village Underground, which, if you guys don't know, is a 700 capacity venue, and we sold 300 tickets.
And you had one last week in town?
And we had
2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago in London, and we sold 15,000 tickets for each day.
There you go. So,
it's not bad.
It pays to stick around.
Yeah, work hard, and it pays off in the end.
So, what do you envisage next? Expansion has been rapid. It's been great. There seem to be new territories popping up. Is there a bigger plan? Is there a strategy to roll it out further? And what is it?
There is a strategy, of course. This is not just let's do a party and see what happens. Looks like it, but no. Yeah, we've this year that we thought it was the biggest one. We've done 130, 135 shows. Next year that we thought we were going to reduce the shows. So far we have booked already 150 shows for next year. The expansion is happening in Asia. Asia is growing really rapidly. We started doing events in China. They worked amazing. We're doing Taipei, we've done Tokyo. Australia is working really well. New York is amazing for us. We're doing our first show in Vegas in 2 weeks at Encore. So we're going to focus on those territories. We're going to scale down a little bit the operations in Europe, try to do bigger events with bigger production, something more immersive. We're working on a new project that hopefully we can launch next year as well, which is a completely different thing. It's Elrow based, but it's a different concept. So yeah, I think it's moving to bigger and better and trying to scale down, not doing so many shows, just because obviously for the team it's extremely tiring. But
Well, without prying too much, just to understand, I mean, how do you generally structure your deals with promoters? I mean, do you have a same structure? Do you work as partners with them and share the risk, or you?
There's both, a bit of both. Obviously, if we work with a promoter for a long time and we know them well, or is somebody that we've worked in the past, we can do a co-pro. Sometimes it happens. And normally, what we do is always like a production fee and a brand fee. Every event is custom made, so once we want to do an event, they send us the blueprints of the place, they send us pictures, and from there we create a production budget, and then we add a brand fee on top.
You said earlier that it's always you get a partner and you're looking for a long-term strategy with that individual partner. So if you do a show in a place for the first time, do you usually give that partner or promoter a certain exclusivity in that territory before doing a show with someone else?
Look, we don't sign an exclusivity per se, but if people knows us, they know that we've been working with the same promoter in UK for the past few years. We've been working with the same promoter in Amsterdam. We've been working with this. So it's a bit of like, I give you my word that if everything goes well, I'm not going to go find someone else. And obviously, when you do the first event, another 20 promoters start calling you.
Of course.
But if I'm working with you and we do an event together and it goes well, I'm not going to go with someone else, and maybe fail because the other promoter is a disaster.
And how many shows per year do you think is enough in a territory, in a major European city, let's say?
I don't think you need to saturate the market. I think having a maximum of, in London, for example, this year, we did the festival, which was in August. Before that, we didn't do anything in London, and we are going to do probably another show in December. So that's it. I think doing a couple of shows per year in each city is probably more than enough.
And would you go, or do you still do small clubs? 1,000 capacity, 2,000 capacity discotheques?
Yeah, we still do sometimes. Today is about between 2,000 and 3,000. Yeah, it's, at the end of the day, it needs to make financial sense. And the reason why we do bigger events is because we want the promoter to make money, and if they make money, they're happy and they want to do bigger and better. We turn down a lot of shows on a daily basis just because they're too small, and we don't even want to make a production budget because it's not worth the time for the team because nobody's gonna really make money and it gets really tiring, and the promoter is not gonna make money. So we're not here to take anyone's money if they're not gonna make it back.
Yeah. And do you do any individual or independent promotion for the brand? Obviously Elrow's become synonymous with party and hedonism in Spain. Do you get the support from the tourism board? Have you been approached by larger institutions to actually represent the culture? No. Well,
it happens.
It happens. I think
I think the nightlife is still seen in many places as not a cancer, but something that is naughty and shouldn't be done.
Yeah. What about the US? How active have you been in the US? How many shows have you done? Do you see it still growing there?
Yeah, US is incredible. We did our first shows. Obviously we did Miami Winter Conference a few years ago, and it was good parties, but conference is always good. And then we got approached by Michael Julian, which has become now one of our partners in the US, and he used to be the marketing director for SFX, and he runs Electric Zoo Festival in New York, big festival in New York, the only electronic music festival in New York right now. And he approached us, and he wanted us to do a stage, and we did it 3 or 4 years ago. We did our first stage in New York. It was 900 people. It was the smallest stage. Then we did the second year. We did a party in a club, small club as well, 1,500 people, sold out, so it was good. The next year we did the second main stage for Electric Zoo, and it was packed the whole day. And then we reached an agreement with Brooklyn Mirage, which is a venue in Brooklyn, which is open air during the summer, and you have to warehouse for like 4,000, 5,000 people in the winter. And we started doing a residency there. We do 3 parties a year, one in November, one in July, and one in February. And yeah, they've been sold out. The July one, we were really scared because summer in New York is very competitive. And we sold out. We did record numbers. New York for us has been incredible. Vegas, we're very excited, and it looks like it's going to sell out as well. It's a pool party. It's a different concept. And Miami, we're doing Art Basel, and we're doing Winter Conference as well. We haven't traveled outside those cities for now.
Yeah. And in the US, you work with the same partner for all those different cities. You have a national partner?
In New York,
or
yes.
Or a citywide partner?
In New York, we work with the same promoter always, which is Brooklyn Mirage, or it's been Michael with Electric Zoo. Miami, no. Miami, as you probably know, if you've been to Miami, it's a different world.
Different beast altogether.
Yeah.
What about other expansion of the brand? Merchandising, record label, multimedia. Is this something you've done? And
yeah,
what?
we have a record label, Elrow Music, which has been running for a few years. It's working really well. We have De La Swing, which was one of our residents, and Baum, another resident. They're doing the A&R and they run the label completely. We've started releasing compilations as well. The last one just came out a few weeks ago, or in August, with Clapton and 2 residents, mixing double CDs. This is with CR2. Merchandising obviously is a really important part. We do have a massive range of merchandising that we sell online, and we also sell in the events. And yeah, we've done events for brands as well. And the videos, I don't know if you've seen one with balloons, and we created an event for Desperados, which was the DJs were playing high up on a balloon, and we did like an orchestra with the balloons, the lights and music show in an abandoned airport in the north of Spain. So yeah, we're open to do other things. I think we are more of a content company. We create content, and it's a creative content.
Yeah. I'm pretty sure there'll be quite a few questions from the floor. I'll put it out there if anyone has a question, or I'll carry on. Oh, no, I'll carry on.
No questions? Carry on.
That's fine, I'll carry on.
There we go, one.
Inda, yeah.
Hi, Victor. I just wanted to ask a quick question about your thoughts on sustainability. Obviously, Elrow the production is incredible, probably the best production in terms of any brand. What are your thoughts about sustainability and how Elrow can sort of make an impact on that? And are there any things that you have in place?
Obviously, we're probably not the best company for sustainability. Confetti is all biodegradable. In Barcelona, we use reusable cups, so it's not like plastic cups that we throw. And we are about to start now. Absolut is one of our sponsors. Obviously, sustainability for Absolut is very important, as it is for us. So we're getting now an audit to see how we can improve on everything. And we're hoping for, in the next 6 months to have a big progress on sustainability.
Okay. Question here at the back.
What does a place need to host Elrow? I mean, for example, I know that now in Granada we have Horror Win.
Yep.
It's curious because other festivals, they used to be in Madrid, Valencia, Ibiza. Do you look for a specific public in that region or country?
No. I mean, Elrow is open to everyone. I mean, this is, you can come. All you need to do is, if you want to have fun, then come. But we don't look for a certain demographic. As we've had crowds from 18 years old, 19, to people in their 40s and their 50s partying with us. Amsterdam, for example, last week we did our festival in Amsterdam, Elrow Town. And the crowd was really, really high. And I can't remember where it was, the demographic that we saw. It was between 24 and 36, the main people that were buying tickets. So it varies a lot depending where you go.
When it comes to, tangible things like ticketing, social media, do you still run that within your own team for the respective shows? Do you give them a ticketing platform? Do you give them your social media input, or do you let the local partners and promoters?
Everything is run through our site. We have over 1 million fans on Facebook, and for every event we create a marketing and content plan. We put money behind every event from our marketing budget, but everything is done in house. I say we try to keep. We're a bit like Apple, we try to keep everything in house, and that's how it works. Every time there's been a lot of chances that we've given a bit more of free hand to promoters, and you always see something that is not right. And we are very, very, very protective of our brand. There's a lot of brand guidelines that we send to promoters, things that you can do, things that you cannot do. So it's, It's a lot of work. That's why we have 110 people working in the office. I think it's about 60 people working in the office.
Is the office in Barcelona or
in
back in Huesca?
Barcelona.
One thing which I saw is, there's a lot of creativity in the artisans and stage design. When you design, do you always consider the longevity, the practicality of shipping? And how do you move your shows around?
We've learned from our mistakes. You've learned when you make a stage that doesn't fit in a truck or in a container, then you start learning. Everything now is built in blocks, as you say, think of an IKEA furniture. So everything can be taken apart, not flat packed, obviously, but it's blocks. So you just come there and then you start building everything.
I mean, I suppose the success that Elrow has had you don't need to book big name DJs. You don't need to go to all that effort. It could be easy to become lazy, but yet I see Elrow just expanding, and I saw some of the new concepts you did this summer in Ibiza, and it seems that the creativity nor the effort isn't slowing down at all.
No, I think the minute we slow down the creativity, that's the moment that Elrow will disappear. I'm 100% sure of that. We need to keep creating, and we need to keep changing things. You can see a Singer Morning or a Sambodroma, which are the longest running themes that we have, and the core of the theme is still there when you see it, but you see it 2 years later, 1 year later, and there'll be a lot of elements that have changed. So, we tried, every year we create 1 or 2 new themes, and we take away a couple more. That's how we try to keep fresh. There's obviously the big ones, like Singer Morning, Sambodromo, and some others. At Psychedelic Trip, which is the one that you guys will see tonight if you come to Uno. And they've always been there, but we make them better, we make them bigger. I remember last time we did Psychedelic in Barcelona, we had the stage for the Psychedelic is like a hippie van. It's like a Volkswagen classic van, the front. And there was like the 4 bands that we had, and you could see from the very first one to the big ones that we're doing now.
The evolution of your psychedelic shows.
Yeah, it was quite funny.
I want to ask, you do have these different concepts, and you obviously keep adding to them, and you bringing out new concepts. Do you think that there's room to start rehashing these previous concepts and doing, for example, in Ibiza, you do a different concept every week?
Every week is different, yeah.
And you do 16 shows?
20 shows.
20 shows. So you have 20 shows, 20 concepts which you can
Some of them repeat.
Some of them repeat.
Every time is different, but for example, Singer Morning, which is the big one, we might do 2 in the season.
Do you ever stop the music for a show?
Yes and no. I'm saying yes and no because there's, especially on the big shows, on the festivals, on the Elrow towns, there's most of the main stage normally is mapped. So when it becomes dark, we normally have like a track that has been made specifically for a big show. So it's like everyone comes out, there's like huge confetti throws, and there's just a track that is made specifically for that show. That's with yes and no.
No, I remember in some clubs, a VIP gets a certain bottle of champagne and the music stops.
Oh God,
or a specific performer comes on and they expect the music to...
No.
And have you, or do you plan to start using more live elements in your shows? Singers, performers, musicians?
It's tough. I've booked some live acts, and it doesn't really work, with the flow of the party. It really depends on the live act. We had Crazy P with the sound system, which is got a singer, and that works well, It's because it's still like a DJ set with a singer on top. We've had people like Rodriguez Jr. plays live, but it's a different. We had Paul Kalbrenner, which is live, but it's like a DJ set. So having a band, I think it would be just a bit weird, and I don't think it will work. Because obviously a band, when they play their songs, some are uplifting, some are a bit more down. For us, it needs to be always more uplifting.
When you do Amnesia, obviously it's 2 rooms. Outside of Ibiza, do you do venues where you have 2 different rooms?
Yeah, we do. In Eindhoven, we've done one with 3 rooms, and we decorate everything.
each one with a different concept?
Yeah. No, not different concepts. Everything is the same concept, one theme. In Ibiza, what we do, for the people who don't know, the terrace, which is the main room, that's where the main Elrow show is. That's where the theme is. And then in the club room, we do a concept that is called Elrow City, which we started at Space the last year. And the concept is one DJ playing the whole night long. One DJ plays for 8 hours, and it's called Elrow City, and it's got elements of a city. So you have like your traffic lights, there's like, the actors are like people that would live in a city. So it's a little bit different, and that every week is the same. It just changes the DJ.
And when you decide, when you come to Malta and you're going to do a psychedelic trip, or if you go to Cape Town and you decide, what is the defining consideration when you come up with these concepts? Where the other shows are and what vans you have left at home?
That's very important as well, where the show is traveling, so you can see which shows you have available for that city at the time. And also is if it's a place where we've already been before, making sure that the theme has not been in the city. Like for us to repeat a theme in London, or it has to be at least a year or more.
And what's your favorite theme?
My favorite theme is El Rocío, which is La Feria de Abril, which is a Spanish celebration. Just because we like to, we laugh at stereotypes, and we just don't take things too seriously when it comes to themes. And the Feria de Abril is a very fun one. When we do it in Barcelona, we have one room where we play Sevillanas, and we have live bands playing until 4 or 5 p.m. in the afternoon. We give away a lot of free food, ham, cheese, wine. So we copy this. It's a party that happens in Sevilla, and I don't know. And it's also always in April, which is when it starts getting warmer in Barcelona, and it's the vibe when it happens is really, really cool.
Fantastic.
Mark, Graham has a question, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
Not him.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
So I was going to ask, because you don't need to book larger DJs, does that mean you have more control on how much you spend on them when you do have to book them?
We do book big DJs. I mean, we don't book big DJs for every single party, but I mean, we've had Marco Carola do an 8-hour set in Barcelona. We had Carl last summer doing 6 hours in the terrace. We had Joseph Capretti doing 8 hours last summer. We had just last weekend Fatboy Slim and Paul Calbrena. So we do book the big DJs, but not always. I mean, there's a massive production budget. So if you try to add a Carl Cox or someone like that, you need to have a festival size event.
Is your production budget bigger than your DJ budget?
Oh yeah, by far.
That's the novelty.
Huh?
Therein lies the novelty.
And can I just say, sort of, Elrow reminds me a little bit of DC10 in a way that you don't really need the big lineup. The people are coming for the party in anyway. So, and because of that, I think you're supporting up-and-coming DJs, you're supporting lesser-known DJs. So could you let the crowd know, for any up-and-coming DJs, how could they get in touch with Elrow? How could they maybe get somebody to listen to their music, maybe give them a chance? Is there...
Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to give you my personal email, sorry. But we have an email called hello@elrowfamily.com, and if any guys, you want to send any music, whether it's for the label or as DJ said, if there's any music related, it will bounce back to me.
Okay, fantastic. Any other questions in the room? Let me get down there quickly. Okay.
Hello.
Hi.
I would like to ask, is it hard to get employed by Elrow?
I don't know.
Depends if you're gunning for his job or not.
Yeah, not for my job. No, I mean, in general, we receive CVs all the time, and they all get stored if it's the right fit. And we have a human resources team that when we need to hire somebody, they first go through all the CVs for sure.
Okay. Any more questions? Yeah.
Hey Victor, how you doing?
Hey mate.
The influence you guys are having on the industry as a whole is huge. You can see it at grassroots. Basically, promoters are going more and more out of their way to try and replicate the level of productions, standing out as much as they possibly can because of the influence of you guys. Do you find that you guys are noticing that on a global scale in terms of, Resistance and all the brands that would sit along your level, are you noticing the difference in their productions to try and compete with the audience you guys have captivated?
I don't think it's competition, especially with Resistance. I mean, Resistance is an incredible party. We're very close friends with Omar and all the team from Ultra. And what the production that they do is completely different to what we have. They have a more technological production. They have massive screens. They have like huge laser shows. It's different. I think people are trying to bring production into the events because I think you need to bring something extra for the crowd. And I think, especially young people now, I mean, I'm older now, and we looked for something different when we were younger, but I think the kids these days, with all the social media, the YouTube and everything, they're looking for something more than just a guy playing records. You know, I think they're looking more for an experience, and you can see it in boutique festivals that happen everywhere, and they are successful because it's more than just going to see a live band or a DJ. It's more about the whole experience of going to that event, and I think that's what we managed to create, that it becomes an experience. It becomes something that you come in, and yeah, you like the DJ, you like the music, but maybe the next day you don't even remember who was playing, or you have fun. It's the whole thing. We used to say that Elrow, if you could break it down, it would be a 25% in production, 25% in actors, 25% in music, and 25% is the crowd. You know, it's if one of those fails, the party fails.
To ask you a question that was in the video, if you were to describe Elrow in a word.
Fun.
Perfect.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Victor. That was fantastic. Thanks, Mark.